Can I steal you for a minute?
Steal you for a minute?
Can I steal you for a minute?
Welcome to Can I Steal You for a Minute, the reality dating recap podcast. My name is Indra Raj.
And I'm Mary Bianco.
And it's a big week.
It's another big week.
Another big one. Like, when is it going to slow down?
I don't know. Because, I mean, I guess we're filming on Tuesday night. Love is Blind finale is tomorrow. But then the reunion's going to come. And then Australia... Love Island is starting soon, and I love Australia. I can't wait to cover it.
Oh my gosh. I am really excited because I've never watched it, and I only hear amazing things about Love Island Australia.
Last season was like just top tier. Like and the couple that came out of it then won was just the cutest little thing, and they're still together.
Are they still together?
Yeah.
Oh, we love that.
Yeah.
Oh, we love it when a couple actually successfully makes it out
when
of the
it
franchise.
works out. And I love like they've gone like kind of like their names are Claudia and Austin, and they're two of the most beautiful people that have ever existed, but they went from like hyper glam in the villa to now they're just like two little nerds who wear glasses and wear pea coats and walk around Australia. So it's just the best.
Pea coats in Australia?
Well, it's winter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I lived in South Africa for a couple of years.
Yeah.
It's probably similar vibes. Like, it does get cold.
Yeah, you're just pushing it to have
like
a jacket
California cold.
Yeah. It's like you want to wear a jacket, so you're wearing one. Like,
right, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so here's the format for today. We're going to chat some Bachelor Nation news. There's some babies that have been announced. Then we're going to skip back to Love Island USA to talk about the reunion.
Yeah.
In conjunction with this 90-second Y event that Mary went to, which delivered in terms of the people that were there.
Yeah, really, really delivered. Wasn't so great in content, but that wasn't their fault. So I'll explain.
Okay, so then we'll skip back to talk about Bachelorette hometowns. Because, I don't know, hometowns are, like, always my least favorite episode.
Yeah.
Like, I guess, like, sometimes I like meeting the family, but it's rare that I meet a family that I'm like, oh, I really needed that to, like, feel a certain way about this.
Yeah. I think, like, the hometowns are almost better to, like, pitch the next lead than they are to, like, pitch the couple. Like, I felt like, and this is getting ahead of myself, if Grant wasn't picked, I feel like Jeremy could have gotten it after his hometown. That was like and same with Jonathan. Those were like good hometowns.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to talk about that. But let's start with Bachelor Nation news. Two babies.
I feel weird about both babies.
Okay. Why do you? Okay. So here are the babies. Madison Pruitt, Maddie Prue, is somehow having a child with her scary ass husband.
Maybe it's immaculate conception because there's no way those two are having sex. That is crazy.
Gosh. It's crazy. But here we are.
We are.
They are bringing forth fruit the way God has always wanted them to.
It's going to be the Antichrist, though. There's such dark energy between those two. Like, that's not going to be a good baby.
That baby's just going to totally rebel against all of their hyper evangelical shit.
Which we're here for you, baby. If you do that, we're here for you, baby.
This is a safe space on this podcast. You can come be with us anytime you need. So that's an open invitation.
Godspeed, literally, baby. I'm worried about you.
And then Ben Higgins and I don't even know his.
She's like a child
name.
bride. She's so much younger than him. Like,
how old is she?
I have to look it up, but I think they have a pretty big age gap. Jessica Clark, age, Ben Higgins.
Ben Higgins, like, never has a Bachelor contestant. I thought he was so cute on Caitlin's season, and then I got so the ick from him. Like.
Yeah.
I don't know when it started. It was sometime during his season, but I was just like, This man is not attractive anymore, and I don't know why.
No, it's just something happened to him physically that is not great. And like, I think he's balding now, so he wears a lot of hats. He always has a hat on. I think he's losing his hair. Okay, so their age gap isn't that big. Like, she's 29, he's 35, but I think they started dating when she was like I think they've been together for like 6 or 7 years. So I think
Do they still live in Denver?
I think so. You got to go find them.
Ugh, I don't want to find them. I don't want to find them.
Yeah, they got.
You know, it wasn't how Ben looked that gave me the ick, though. It was his personality.
I kind of have like the ick from this picture. It's a little noodly for me, and she's so stunning. Okay, so I realize why I'm creeped out by them. They got engaged in 2020, so she's 29 in 2024. So she was 25 years old.
Right.
I just
like,
yeah.
Do we need to be getting engaged at before 25 or even 30?
Yeah. And like,
just kidding.
They met in 2018 on Instagram, and so like she was like I'm terrible at math, but my brain is like not letting me do the math. But she was like what, 23 years old?
Yeah, I mean,
it's not great.
It's really not that bad. It's not like
that
a
bad.
Nick Viall, Natalie Joy situation.
No, I guess he's been one-upped. Like, I just feel like the Bachelor to Child Bride pipeline just has too many people on it. I'm like a little bit, I don't know.
Anyway, I feel less weird about them having a baby than Maddie and Grant. My favorite thing about Date Card Pod's Instagram is how she'll post a photo of Maddie and Grant, and the next slide will zoom in on his eyes.
It's so good. It's so good.
Which are like dead eyes.
Totally dead to the world. I sprinted to her Instagram when I saw the baby announcement. I was like, oh my God.
It's so good.
It's so scary. The details that have come out since, like, she knew she was pregnant and she hid it from him for a week. I don't fully know why. These
are like important things. Like, how did he not know?
Because they don't,
like, my partner knew like the day that I would know. Like, he was very involved in the process.
You'd hope so. Like,
yeah. Like, he was invested in it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he cared about you bringing forth children. And, like, it just seems like Grant is, like, checked the fuck out. Like, there's no way they're on the Flow app, like, tracking each other's cycle. Like, they're just, like, not each other's. He doesn't have one. But, like, definitely not.
Oh, no. Maddie has, like, a handwritten cloth or, like, a cloth-bound ovulation schedule that she uses for natural family planning. And she like, checks things off and puts little X's. And I've seen one of these. It's terrifying. I don't love them. But they would never use an app.
No. Let the government.
God forbid.
I know. And it's like... It's like, let the government know what I got going on. No, it's like, I mean, under Trump, I was a little scared to like upload my periods on there because they were weaponizing that information, but that's not what's happening.
That is true.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's actually a really good point.
I'll purge the app if Trump comes back into office, but right now I'm keeping it.
The app is like scary accurate though.
Oh, it's really weird. Like it'll text me and it'll be like, "Hey Mary, are your boobs a little tender today? Have you been irritable?" And I'm like, "How did you know that?" And it's like I'll get the text.
It'll be like, I mean, I like since I had my second child, he'll be 2 on Halloween, so but it can take your body that long to kind of like re-regulate back into like a normal period schedule. So I've kind of been like going through it and just like things have been pretty irregular, but like as soon as they started to get like a little more regular again, like I'm like, oh, I know better than the app. I know. Like it's telling me I'm going to get my period today, but like what?
Yeah, why would that be today?
Know?
Yeah.
And then literally I go to the bathroom and it's like, Oh.
It's eerie. It's
so scary.
It knows so much, and like the texts are always like so poorly timed. Like I'll be in a meeting and like on my watch it'll be like, "Hey, Flo here, just checking in. Like how's your discharge?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, stop texting me."
I am not supposed to be thinking about my discharge right now.
No.
Anyway, happy news for them.
Yeah.
Is there other Bachelor Nation news?
No, just the comment of the year goes to Chad Johnson, the scary Chad Johnson, for commenting on Maddie Pruitt's announcement. Welcome to Alimony Town, USA.
Like, what a guy. I hate him
I
so
hate
much.
him. But
And like, what the hell is he doing? Like, putting his what is he doing commenting on any of Maddie Prue's posts?
And it was
like literally any of them.
It wasn't even Maddie Pruitt's post. It was like Bachelorette Windmill, which is like a meme account. So he's like trolling a meme account.
Oh,
and like congrats on the permanent home in Alimony City, USA. And it's like the most terrifying picture of Grant. Like
look at the eyes. Zoom in on the eyes. Look at how terrible.
Can I get this go? There we go.
Oh my god, that is so funny. Terrifying, truly terrifying. Like actually terrifying.
There's no life behind those eyes. Like
No.
I believe that this is an AI person.
Yes.
It is not real.
Definitely there was no sex involved. I don't know how it happened, but there was no sex involved.
He was not there. Maybe
No.
some turkey baster or whatever, but he was not there. He's never seen her
was not
naked.
there.
There's no way.
No.
There's no way.
No. Like never have I seen such a like sanitized looking couple.
Ugh,
truly.
disgusting.
Anyway, like, we'll stop hating on them.
Yeah.
Love Island USA, the reunion. We had it last night. I feel like it was a major letdown.
I agree.
Major.
I think there must have been so much cut out because what the cast had been alluding to, like at the 90-second Y event and then in press before, like I don't think they knew how sterile it was going to be. Like this really was like
Right.
such a nothing reunion and has led to some of the worst opinions I've seen online. Like
Right.
I have so much to say. Like
Okay, we have to get to all of it. I want to know what people are saying because I just finished it. I got bamboozled into somehow watching the DNC last night because they cut the Bachelorette in half and then in the mountain time zone, and then they didn't even end up airing the second half. So I actually have not seen the second half of the episode, but I know it happens. But okay, so let's talk about the reunion itself and how that ties into the event that you went to.
Yeah.
Or do you want to describe the event that you went to?
Yeah, I'll just talk about the event because not really much like happened at the event because it was the most feral crowd I've ever been a part of.
Yeah.
No one could get a word out without people screaming at the top of their lungs. Like
Wow.
everyone was screaming the entire time, and like I feel bad because they're airing it online tonight for people who bought online tickets. I genuinely feel bad for anyone who bought a recording of it because like they could not get a word out. Like people could not stop cheering. People were so dressed up for this. What
were they wearing?
I literally I do this program called Newly, like the monthly rental. A girl was wearing a dress I wore to a black tie wedding to this event. From the same website.
What?
People were so dressed up. It was like me and my sister were like joking, texting because I went with my sister Sarah, and I was like, why do I feel like I should like try to look cool? Like I want like we were sitting in the balcony, like no one's gonna see us, and she was like, oh yeah, me too, and she wore like cowboy boots, and I had like a maxi dress on. This was like such a dressed up crowd. It was crazy. Like I
wow
felt like they should have had a casting person there because everyone like it was such a hot group of people, just so dressed up to come. 99% women, just like, and
yes, feral women.
feral. Like Rob came out and everyone is like screaming at the top of their lungs, like, and just like screaming out questions. Like Remy Bader, the host, did her best, but it was like they could not get it out. Like Janae would try to talk and everyone would be like, Kenny, and like it was just.
This is how you know this. It's like they almost did it too soon after the show. Like the fandom is like too intense right now in a way.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
okay.
it was like my sister and I went to go leave and to walk to the subway, and we passed by the side entrance. There were hundreds of people, and the cast was up in the window, and there were just like hundreds of people waiting for them to come out. It was like it definitely turned into like, how are we going to get them out of here? Like,
really?
Yeah.
That's kind of scary.
Jeez. I would have been scared if I were them. Like, I think this is really overwhelming. And I was, shout out to Julia from Peacock. I was texting her because she mentioned that if she had time, like we could come say hi. She was like, I did not have a moment to breathe. I was like running around with my head cut off, like corralling Islanders everywhere, getting them outside. And it was just madness. So
wow.
Not much happened. Like Kayla and Liv, like honestly sat there whispering to each other the whole time. It was kind of distracting and annoying. And
I have always been annoyed by their dynamic, and the reunion like solidified that for sure.
It was like bad girls in class. You know what I mean? Like they're whispering and hee hee ha ha, and it's like, you guys are on mic at an event, like just
right.
And Remy kept being
professional.
Remy kept being like, Kayla, like, do you want to share what you were talking about? Janae and Kenny are so touchy feely and actually so cute together. Like,
oh my god, that I loved that. They're the only couple that was on stage.
Only
right?
couple that
Serena was not there.
I heard a rumor that Serena and Leah were supposed to be there. After the reunion, Leah has decided she's done with Peacock related events, and Serena stayed with her that night to like support her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They were like posting shots on like the Upper East Side of them just like on the street.
Yeah.
Like with fans and otherwise. So
just not at this event. And Janae FaceTimed both of them. So they said hi to the crowd and that they love everybody and whatever. And yeah, it was fun, but it was just like no inside exclusive, like.
Right.
Yeah.
Chaotic,
just
like,
chaotic,
weird.
like and like, you know, Kayla screaming fuck a lot, like and just anytime someone brought up Casa or Aaron, she was just like screaming about it. She was like, I'm single, I'm here, and Cordell looked surprised. And then we watched the reunion last night. I'm like, Cordell,
it was very clear at the because okay, so to be clear, this event happened after the reunion had been filmed.
Yeah.
Even though we just saw the reunion aired on Peacock. So like that was on like a Wednesday. This
was Friday. Yeah.
This was Friday, and then it aired on Monday. So, well, okay. And then what we were talking about last week is like they didn't even start filming the reunion until 11 at night.
Yeah.
Which is really crazy and like sort of explains like the way that they just looked going into the dressing rooms eating that Pizza Hut pizza.
The ads in this episode were so funny.
I was just like, these poor people are so hungry and tired and just want to go home. And they're like, there's Pizza Hut and I am eating this fucking pizza. Yeah. Like all of it.
We're in New York City, the city for pizza, but you guys are going to eat Pizza Hut. Like,
like everyone looked so defeated. And like, I mean, honestly, what we're hearing is like Kayla and Aaron's drama was what held everything up, which like I feel like it actually really affected the quality of the entire reunion.
Yeah.
Which really sucks like for everyone. Like it sucks for the viewers. It sucks for the rest of the cast. It sucks for Ariana. It sucks for the whole production team. Like it sucks for like the show as a whole because like reunions are really important, I think, like for these types of reality TV shows. Like they really give you closure or give you a chance to like check in on things. And there's been so much content out there about this that it's like, we needed that. And then there was like the fact that they spent 10 minutes airing the conversation
that's
about like I was interested to see it, but I actually didn't need to see the whole thing. Like they could have just broken it up a little to give us the gist.
Or just like post it as a clip on social media. Like I don't think it needed to take up like 10 minutes of the reunion and like
literally,
you know, Leah said like we can just dead the whole backseat thing here. I don't care about this anymore. And like neither do I.
Right.
Like, I think there was not enough time spent addressing Andrea's actions. Like people think that she got it really bad at the reunion. I think she got off scot fucking free. Like I don't think anything really that bad happened to her. Like not that I wish ill on anybody, but she did so much shit talking that they barely got into. We barely talked to our winners, Serena and Cordell. Like
we didn't talk to them at all. At all. Really. Yeah.
Didn't talk to them at all. Janae had a full notebook of notes. We heard 2 things from it. Like I wanted to hear more from the notes. Like
Janae?
Yeah.
I have never loved Janae more than I loved her during this reunion. She was the winner of the reunion 100%. Like she's like a secretary, like 100%. So calm, just taking out her notes, like her binder, reading through, okay, item 4, page 35.
Yeah.
It was so amazing.
And people want to say astrology isn't real. Okay, then why is Janae a Virgo and she's acting like that? Like, come on. like, come on. And
that is some Virgo shit.
That's some
sure.
Virgo shit. And I love Ariana. I do. I wanted Janae to host the reunion.
She would have held people's feet to the fire. Like, and the way that she was like kind of in the conversation with Leah and Andrea, which like, I agree. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm sort of glad they didn't get too far into it because I have a hard time seeing anyone, no matter how egregious they are, like getting trashed during a reunion. It is hard to watch. Like even Aaron, a little bit. I felt a little bad for him, but like actually not really.
Yeah,
like,
I think he tried to make us feel bad for him, and then immediately Kaylor debunked it, and so I
think Andrea like just she has no self-awareness. Like they called her out on so many contradictions that were like so blatant. And she's like, listen, guys, I'm so sorry, but like, you don't know what I was going through and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, who was the other person who was like, thank you for not shit talking me on a podcast? It was, I forget who
Dea and Serena were talking about it. I guess. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, like it's possible to like have opinions and have feelings and not trash everyone else on the cast.
Yeah. I liked the way that Janae handled it, where she was like, do you want to apologize for calling her two-faced? Okay, we're good. Moving on. Like, keep her name out of your mouth. And I was like, that's what it has to be going forward. And like, I just feel like talk a big game online and be prepared to back it up. And another thing that we saw before the reunion was, you know, Daniela and Sierra making posts about how like there's cyberbullying going on and like be kind, and how the reunion was so tough on everybody. And Kiki Palmer had Serena and Cordell on today, and Kiki was like, sorry, what was that reaction about? And what are the Cossack girls talking about that they caught so much heat? And Serena was like, literally nothing. She's like, they barely spoke at the reunion. They were barely spoken to at the reunion. I'm just as confused as you guys are, that they are like, we got bullied, we got run over at the reunion. They're like, yeah, nothing like that happened. It's just another tactic to get people to interact with them.
That's so fucking weird. And like the way they were like crying in the dressing room, I'm like, I have no sympathy for these people.
No.
You were barely on the show.
I know.
Like, get over it. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to minimize like if there's real stuff that's making people feel, you know, like they want to harm themselves or anything like horrible like that. Absolutely not. But like, it was a little hearing that, like, I was asking myself the same thing. I'm like, I'm not really sure what's happening here. Like, even the conversation about Casa and what people were up to, like it seemed very respectful to me from both sides. Like people were, you know, they had feelings about it, but no one was like screaming at each other.
No, I thought it was so calm in so many ways. Like, I think people were trying to say, like, oh, like, you know, PPG went crazy. And I'm like, not really. Like, they kind of were just like, yeah, this is life now. Move on. Like, let's keep it moving. The weirdest moment of the reunion was Nicole.
Okay, so I don't. So they obviously talked about the video of Kendall, and I was like wondering if Ariana was going to speak on that a little bit because of whatever. But like basically the drama turned into Nicole being upset that Kendall didn't tell her, wasn't honest about when the video was from, which I guess was from a hotel room right before he flew out to Fiji.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's, and he told her instead that it was from like a couple of years before. Nicole was so not kind to Kendall at all in that situation. No. It was all about her.
No, I've seen a lot of creators be very delicate in talking about it, where they're like, I understand feeling big feelings and being lied to is not okay. I get that. I'm just going to say it. She's a fucking brat. Like, that is extreme brat behavior. The video was probably not going to come up at the reunion. And not only did it come up, you brought it up to call him a liar. And like, this conversation should not have happened on air. Like, I also don't even think the lie is that big of a deal when you think about the context that it happened, where it's like,
what would you do? I would probably lie too. Like, I would be so fucking overwhelmed and embarrassed and worried about
my family,
my partner's reaction. And
when he said I couldn't talk to my family about it, I felt so alone.
Oh my God.
And you were not answering me. Like, you weren't responding to me. And like I couldn't imagine how he felt and how alone he felt. And for her to make it about her and be like, yeah, but he lied to me. So we're all saying it's okay that he lied to me. Like, because this thing happened, it's okay that he lied to me. And it's like, this is the same shit that she pulled when Kendall like twisted after she was like, oh, I'm interested in Miguel. I'm more interested in Miguel. And it was the same thing where people were like, you know, he had this reason for doing it. And she just shuts down and starts throwing a fit because people are like calling her out for something. And I just was like, this Peacock shouldn't have aired this. Like, they shouldn't have put it out there. Like, and Nicole should not have handled it this way. Like, if she thought she was getting hate before, like, she's just opened up a can of worms. Like, this is so beyond, and it was disgusting the way that she made it about her. Like,
yes, that was the part where I was just like, you can have hurt feelings and sure, like, a lie was told and you can feel how you want to feel. Like, I thought Serena was right. It was like, yeah, you know, like, this is a thing, but like, you have to, within this context, I don't know. I just feel like Kendall, I don't know. And he just like, again, as we saw through the season, he's just like immediately apologizing to her and trying to make it right with her. And like, she's in such a position of power in that relationship in such a toxic way. I'm just like, and she's like, and we're still together. Like, I never said we're not together. Like, the way it was all going down, I'm just like, oh my God, can you two please break up immediately? Like, we do not need you to be together anymore. This is not serving either of you.
It's not good for either of you. It shouldn't be hard at this point. Like, if it is hard and you can't be there for each other when you're going through this, like, then do not be together, because it's only going to hurt. And it's like, I just feel like she was looking for a way to get out of this and was bothered by the video and wanted a way to dump him that didn't make it seem like it was about the video, when like, it's about the video. Like, you're dumping him because you guys got fourth place and you were not received the way you thought you were going to be received on the outside. And like, so do that. Or like, if I'm her and I think he's being deceitful about stuff, Even though, like, someone on TikTok was like, oh, the lie wasn't even that bad. I would have been telling my girl it was AI. Like,
right. Like, that's a real lie.
that's a real lie.
That's a real lie. Yeah.
Lying about the timing of it when he's on a dating app sending somebody a video before he goes on a show where he's about to date multiple people.
Right.
At no point were you in a monogamous relationship with him when he sent that video. And the point is not that he sent the video to someone on a dating app. He got a video of him leaked, a very explicit video of him leaked. Right. People are making all kinds of speculations about him, like what app it was and what his sexuality might be based on that app. And instead of loving him, as you say that you do, and being there for him, you are like so hung up on this small fact. And like, when I have started an irrational fight in my relationship, I get hung up on the small shit to try to prove my point, and I know I'm wrong, and I'm digging my heels in.
Yes.
And that's what she's doing.
100%. She's not... Yeah, I've always felt a little bit like not sure about her, and I think the reunion just kind of confirmed all of that. I'm just kind of like,
yeah.
It just feels like it's really all about her. It always has been. Kendall is like kind of the perfect person to get caught in all of that because he's so forgiving and he's so like in love with her and whatever. But it's not like real love. It's like it's just toxicity, really. And he just like has this picture of who she is, but she's not really that for him. Like she's not really there for him in the ways that he needs someone or anyone needs someone who's like going to be in a real loving relationship. So that's sad. Yeah. And they spend so much time on it. I just, again, I'm going back to this, like they started filming so late that like, everyone was probably just fucking exhausted. It was probably hard for them to like get good content to fill an hour and 20 minutes with, which is clearly what happened. Yeah. And like, I don't know, it was such a letdown. Like, why didn't anyone straight up ask Rob, like, do you want to be with, like, are you still interested in Leah? Like, why wasn't that question asked? I do not understand. I'm like, going back to the Bravo reunions, like I really dislike Andy Cohen, but he knows how to do a reunion.
Of course, yeah.
And like one thing Bravo does, which I'm not really sure why they didn't do this because it makes it so easy on the host, is to just grab questions from Twitter. Like they can be fucking fake, like Christy in Washington or whatever. Yeah. Christy in Washington wants to know, Rob, would you ever get back together with Leah? Like, make me the host. Yeah. I will do this shit.
Yeah,
for
why
you.
not? Why not?
It's like, it's not that hard. Ask the tough questions as if someone else is asking them. Make it easy on yourself and then get us the dirt and the information we want to hear. Not some like weird coded Rob, oh, everything worked out the way that it should have and blah, blah, blah. It's like, after this reunion and just hearing Rob on podcasts and stuff and like Leah, I'm just like, that's over, guys.
It's done.
It's not happening. He's not interested in her. Like,
no.
I don't know where she's at, but he's not interested in her anymore.
Her and Miguel are boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, she's all in on Miguel. Like, Miguel barely got to speak at this reunion, which is crazy. They barely spoke to him. Like, Miguel and Leah both seemed extremely tired. Like they were like
so tired.
At one point just like holding hands and just like rolling their eyes at everything people were saying. Cause now it's like, now they're at the part where it's like, okay, I know who my friends are from this. I'm with my man from this. I'm kind of done with it unless they ask tough questions, which they didn't. And I think like.
Which they didn't.
I think
Leah lost it a little bit. Yeah. Like. Towards the end, I forget what was it about that she like kind of lost her shit. Oh, it was about the conversation.
Yeah, I mean they aired 15 minutes of it, and she's just like sitting there the whole time. She has to rewatch her being excited that Kaylor said that her and Rob still have a thing for each other. She has to watch herself like she has to watch this lie play out that like Liv talked to that entire time.
Liv was the person like. The only Liv talk. Okay, if we're gonna have like a 100% meter, Liv talked 80% of that. Leah talked 10%, and then everyone else. No, Leah was like 15%, and then everyone else was like 5%. Like, it was unbelievable how much Liv pushed all of that, and truly, like, made me just think her and Kayla were being fucking bitches by going to Rob and saying that it was all Leah's fault. Like, it really wasn't. Truly, like, Leah was bringing up some really normal. She didn't say anything about like, I want Andrea to go home.
No, she said,
she was like, Nicole is actually here doing what she's supposed to be doing. It was totally framed that way. She wasn't being malicious about Andrea at all.
No, because she was hyper aware that if she pushed for Andrea, then it would come back and bite her in the ass. And what she said at the reunion, where she was like, this shit where like, and this is what Andrea said online. So I think when Leah lost her shit a little bit about this, it was like responding to Andrea without directing it at her. Like, where she was like, this shit where I got rid of him to try to get Rob back. Like, please, I have more respect for myself. Like, because that's something that Andrea has said that they didn't ask her about. That she said that is a terrible accusation to make of somebody, that they got rid of you because they thought they didn't stand a chance with you there. And that is like calling someone so deeply insecure and pathetic without directly saying it.
Right. Yeah, Leah was like, I didn't want to be a second choice.
Yeah.
So, like, that was not what it was about, because then I would have been a second choice. Like, I don't know. I mean, I do think that there was still some lingering affection there for sure. But, like, I don't know. It wasn't about that. I didn't get that feeling from her. And I think, the takeaway I took was, like, Liv and Kayla just fucking lied to Rob.
Oh.
Like, that's what happened.
There's no way that Liv leaves that conversation and is like, I really held my tongue during that. Like,
yeah.
I feel like I text you 50% of the time after this podcast being like, sorry, I talked so much. I just ran my yapper. Like, you remember when you dominate a conversation. Like,
well, and the wildest thing is that Liv is the youngest of all of them. She's 21.
21.
And, like, she seems like she's 35, and like, because she got the way she holds herself is like very much like that. But then you remember that she's actually really immature, and then it sort of explains a lot of it, I think, and maybe the dynamic with Kayla. I just feel like the part where, like, you know, later on where she's like trying to defend Kayla for Kayla didn't need defending, but she's like defending him, and like, Rob's trying to talk, and like Liv won't let Rob talk, and he's like, will you just let me say what I'm trying to say? I was just like, this whole dynamic is just like, everyone is over it. I'm over it. I don't even want to be watching this right now. Like,
that's how I felt. Like, even Liv owning it, being like, and I drove the fucking car, and Leah was in the back seat, and Kayla was in the passenger seat, and Serena's changing the spare tire. It's like, it's kind of like too late. Like, you did the damage, like, and Leah can forgive you, and that's very nice of her, and still be your friend. But like, you called her a pathological liar and fucking delusional.
Wow.
Because
I forgot about that. That's crazy.
Because of what you made up in your head. And so Leah being like, oh yeah, Rob, do I need to like fucking wake up now? Or are you like awake to the fact that you made this up? And like, Rob also reframed what Leah said. She did try to take a back seat. She said, I tried to take a back seat, not I took a back seat, which is small but makes a difference. Right. And it made all the difference when it went to Liv and Kayla, because the way that he said it made it sound like Leah was putting the blame on everyone else, which she wasn't doing. And I think like this kind of people felt bad for Aaron. I think the satisfying part of the reunion is that you cannot get away with being a fucking liar for long. And he tried to gaslight again, as if what we watched him do did not happen. Like, he's
diabolical. I'm sorry.
He's diabolical. Like,
I'm glad Kayla like cussed him out. Or whatever. I also think Kayla is kind of in this mode of like, I need to like be a bad bitch and like prove it to everyone that I'm not whatever it was. Like, it's a little like too much from her too, kind of. Although it's like, yeah, he deserves to be yelled at 100%. I just could not believe when he was like, wait, you have to own up to the fact that like you were not there for me. You went on a podcast after I told you my grandfather died and talk shit about me. That wasn't supportive. It's like,
why does she have to support
press
you?
That is going on is like, you're gonna expect her to like separate those things, like, or like not separate them, like blend them together to the point where like she's like, oh, I need to respond to this during this podcast to show that I care about Aaron. She's like, no, I texted you, I sent you a note, I did all of these things, like I was absolutely there for you, and I needed to talk about what happened between us on this podcast, which like I don't know when it's coming out. Like I don't know, it's like he's like calling her out on things that are just like ridiculous to call anyone out on. And he just needs to have something to be like, look, I told you that I wasn't that bad.
Yeah, he has to point the finger. Like he can't ever just say, I'm sorry. Like it always has to be the next thing. And like he tried to lie about what happened. He said, well, you didn't support me. Like you never reached out. And Kayla's like, I reached out to you. I sent flowers to your fucking house. Do not try to say that. I'm like, yes, I'm so glad that you are now saying this. Like, I agree. She sometimes takes it too far, but I was so sad for her when she said, I watched the clips of me entering the villa and how I felt when I left, and I left a different girl. She was like, you beat me down. That is like so sad to happen at 22. And like,
and it happened, like, it's happened to me. Like,
yeah, it happened to me too.
That's like. Yeah.
I know how she feels. And like him saying at the reunion, yeah, I did put my hands down Daniela's pants. And she's like, you didn't tell me in the many times I've spoken to you since we left the villa. You say it now? Like, what?
I know.
The fuck?
That was actually kind of shocking to me. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Where are we going here?
What's
like,
going on? And like
happening?
Rob is like panicking. Like, like, and Cordell's like, you did?
I'm just like, Rob, do you really want to be friends with Aaron anymore?
I don't think he's gonna be. Like, I think even post, like, I think we've seen a lot more of like Rob's with Kendall and Cordell, and that might just be, you know, that Aaron lives in the UK, but yeah, I don't know. I also just want to say, like, our traders, the post you made about him being on the traders keeps getting comments where people are like, you didn't watch, he cried the whole time. He weaponizes his tears. I do not have to watch the show to know that he cried to get his way. And, and people who keep falling for that, like, you don't have a ton of media literacy. Like, you're just not really registering what's going on. Like, someone commented on our post being like, I don't like Aaron, but if a female Love Islander got attacked the way that he did, the show would be canceled. No, it fucking wouldn't. Shows like this have been dragging women through the mud forever. He barely got pushed. He didn't get anything because he said his grandpa died.
He was called out for doing the shit that he did. Like, it was really not that deep. It wasn't like anything more complicated than that. Like, I don't know how people are defending this man. Yeah, on the traders post, people are like, oh, but he was a faithful. I'm like, do you think the faithfuls are like, have you seen the show?
Dumb?
Like, again.
Yeah. Have you seen the show? Like, I've seen the show. Being a faithful does not mean you tell the truth and that you play such a clean game. Like my King CT, like, literally faked so many people out as a faithful. Like, it's the game. And he brought up his grandfather so that people would feel bad for him in the way that they feel bad for him. That he gets to bring up his grandpa and not be held accountable for his actions. Like, those are really two separate things. Like,
yeah, that's such a like gross move.
Yeah.
Like, what is he doing? I don't like Aaron. I hope that he just like kind of disappears for a while. Like, I actually listened to a little bit of the Vial files from today because him and Rob were on it. And number one, absolutely weaponizing his tears. From the beginning of the interview, he starts crying. And like, it's just huge pity party. I want to go home. It's like, yeah, go home for a while.
Yeah.
And Nick's like, so would you like do TV again? And he was basically like, oh yeah, I love TV. I'd definitely do it again. Like,
you love it when people are nice to you, but you don't like the other. No one likes the other part, but you cannot deal with the other part. Like, he's so annoying. I just need him. I need him to not come back for games. Like,
no. Oh God. Yeah. Did you see like how surprised everyone looked, I guess, when Ariana announced that?
Did you see how excited Nicole looked?
Yeah.
She's done. She's so done with Kendall. It's like,
she was never really that in it.
No.
Like, she really thought they were going to win, which is why she went along with it, I think, for as long as she did. And I don't know. Kendall's not a perfect person by any means, but I think he has some like learning and growing to do. But I think he has a really good heart at the bottom of all of it. And that, like, I just want him to be with someone who can treat him well. Yeah. And I just don't think Nicole is that for him.
I don't think so either. I hope he gets the games invite.
Oh, yes. I think he will.
I think he will. I think he'll do a great job on that. Like,
gosh, so they mesh like all the Love Islands, right? Like,
yeah.
USA, UK, and Australia.
Yeah, everybody. And it's really, and I think there's a Sweden too. Yeah, there's a Sweden too. So it was really fun bringing everybody together. Like, that's how Selly came back to the franchise, and then she got involved in all this social media stuff and for Love Island, and it was really fun. Like, it was just like a good time, and they do more active challenges, and it's just fun.
So when did that air during its first season? Was it like in the winter?
Yeah, it was hosted by Maya Jama, and I think it was last year because we didn't cover it on this podcast. I think it was like winter last year.
Okay. But
really
they're also doing All-Stars in the UK.
They are.
Yes. Okay, you're acting surprised.
I hope so.
Maybe I dreamt this, but I swear I saw a social media post somewhere where they said their All Stars is coming back for another season.
I mean, as it should. Molly and Tom just bought a house together.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
So cute.
Okay, I have to let it go. And Callum has a new girlfriend.
Yeah.
I gave it up a while ago, but still.
We sadly have to let it go.
Molly and Tom are like so perfect.
Yeah,
it's a little alarming.
They're a perfect match. Like they belong together.
Right.
Oh, I guess it was February 2024. I wonder why we didn't talk about it. I don't know. I don't see when this is coming back.
Oh, no. I hope I didn't dream it.
Oh, wait. Who might host Love Island All-Stars Season 2? While nothing is confirmed, we can't imagine without my... Oh, it's one of these articles like speculating, like, do we think it'll be this?
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what I saw. I want to... Okay. Well, I hope I'm right because I would love to see another All-Star season.
I'd love to.
Yeah. But anyway, okay. So I don't... I know initially we said like, oh, I'm glad the reunion's going to be like, 5 weeks after the end of the show or whatever, so that we can like really see what happened and whatever. I think in some ways it was almost too long. I think the show was just so popular and like just listening to your story about going to the 92nd Y event and like how insane it was and like just like the feverishness around the show and like the amount of podcasts people have been on and all the chatter and here and there. It's just like, I feel like everyone's just like really tired.
Yeah, I think they're exhausted. Like I think they are ready. I feel like there's two groups of people. Like there are people like who have gotten the most fame out of this, like PPG, obviously they're men, probably Kendall to some extent, like are ready to do something else. Are ready to take the next step, and like congrats to Cordell on his Cheez-Its collaboration. We're very proud of you, Cordeezy.
Iconic. I want all the good things for Cordell. I love him.
He's a ray of sunshine. He's perfect.
He's perfect.
And PPG did a Teen Vogue spread that was also perfect. Just like so sweet. Just like talking about their friendship. Like I think they are ready to do something else. And
yeah,
they're almost like, I get their frustration because these people who everyone keeps referring to them as extras, like these extras on the TV show keep dragging them back into it. Like,
right. They want their 15 minutes.
they need their 15 minutes.
Like, I'm going to say something blasphemous. Like, we're going to reach out to Peacock because they said, like, maybe after the reunion we could talk to some folks from the cast. But, like, I almost don't even know what we would say to them at this point. Like,
yeah, I don't.
It's kind of like, I wouldn't even want to talk about the show, really.
I don't even.
It's like, it's all been said.
It's all been said to death. And, like, I don't even know, like, who. We're not going to get any of the big ones to talk to because they're so, like, booked up with everything. But, like,
right.
So it's like, we're going to talk to, like, Daya? Like, I don't know. I guess I would.
Okay, the reunion was so fucking dry that Coy got a 3-minute thing.
And when
like,
he apologized.
I was actually like, who is that?
I forgot about him because he blew us off.
I know. But he was like literally the first Islander cut. Episode 2 or 3 or whatever. And like, it was just like, you're going to let him speak? Like, nobody cares about him. Like, please. I'd rather see Kaylor yell at Aaron for another 2 minutes than see him talk. Like,
I
seriously.
know. I was just like, yeah. He's like, oh, I'm sorry I called. I'm yawning. I'm sorry I called your relationship fake. And Kenny and Janae were like, okay. Like, it just didn't need to happen. I don't know.
It didn't.
So much on the cutting room floor, I'm sure, that just is like, and Peacock, if you're hearing this, don't now release the extended cut. I don't actually need to see all 5 hours. Like,
is there talk of that?
No, just talking about the fire pit scene where they took it very literally that we needed to see the whole fucking thing. Like,
right.
I don't need to see the whole reunion.
I mean, yeah, they could have gotten their point across, like, if they had shown us, like, whatever. And I mean, I don't know, give the fans what they want. Like, I guess they did kind of need to show the whole thing to, like, prove to us that nothing was cut out or whatever. Yeah. But, like, it was truly, it just felt like filler.
Yeah.
And it was just like, okay. So, anyway, kind of a disappointment.
Yeah.
Honestly. But, like, I am happy to see the couples that are together minus Nicole and Kendall, because I really do think they need to break up.
Yeah.
But everyone else I'm happy for, you know?
I'm happy for everyone. Like, I also felt like that fire pit scene kind of exposed more about how Nicole was talking about Kendall versus, like, the actual decision-making process. And if I'm him, I'm, like, really going to be evaluating...
Right.
How she feels.
Where this all started.
Yeah.
Like, that was actually a very interesting revelation from it all. Like, that was actually an interesting part of it for sure. Anyway, it was still a great season.
Yeah.
I mean, can't wait for next year.
Can't wait for games. Can't wait for All Stars if it comes back. Still a 10 out of 10.
Love it.
Everyone should watch it.
Our Love Island dreams continue with Australia soon.
Can't wait.
So we'll be picking that up soon because, okay, now we're going to transition to hometowns with Jenn.
I have 4 notes. I barely...
You have 4 notes. I love it.
I barely...
mean, there was like... Yeah, I feel like the only thing to talk about is just like my general feelings about these guys, kind of. Like...
Yeah. And I want to talk about Stu Leonard's for approximately an hour and a half.
Okay, so let's go in order of how they showed us. Devin was the first hometown, and I still my dislike of him continues on. They tried their best to make me like him and his family, and his family's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't have anything against his family, but like, it was interesting seeing his dad actually, because I feel like that sort of explains like how he could like an anti-immigrant post when his dad's an immigrant. I don't know. And I can't say anything more on that, like, specifically. I just feel like there's a vibe. that felt very much like, oh, I could see this family being like pretty MAGA.
Yeah, I think when I made that comment, I was kind of ignoring the sometimes what happens with people who come, and I'm putting this in air quotes, the right way. There is this elitism about immigration and this exceptionalism that what you did is so necessary because you know your situation so much better than anyone else. And so I kind of disregarded that in my comment about that, but I see what you mean. Like, I definitely can see it happen. Also, like, Houston is a more liberal city in Texas, but it's not Austin, and it is still Texas. And so
it's still Texas.
A liberal person in Texas is still more conservative than a lot of people that you know. And I did meet a lot of liberals in Texas, and like that's who I was friends with when I lived there, but it's very conservative in a lot of ways. Like, there is concealed carry in Texas. People are walking around with guns. Like, it is what people think. And that's, I think, how those posts happen. I don't know how he feels about it now. The whole date just felt like so old fashioned. Like, even Jen's outfit going to meet his parents was like so 2010 yearbook photo. Like, I don't know what it was about it. Like the frill sleeve and the cowboy boots, just like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sold on it. I think she picks him, but I'm not getting it.
Yeah, I am just like, it was so boring. Like, it was just boring.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't think you're cool. I don't see what Jen sees in you. I think this is like literally inertia because the person she wanted to pick ended up being the truest asshole of them all.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. It's just like, it feels like all the momentum. I don't know. I want it to be one of these other guys so badly. And I don't know. I just don't know that she's going to get there with them. And
yeah,
it just seems so obvious it's Devin if he was like liking all those like liberal posts all of a sudden. Like, it just, I don't know. It all lines up that way for me, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's him. And I think I really like Jen. There's something weird going on with the conversation she has with herself about like how she should be feeling about these guys at this time. She's so afraid to have fun with somebody and have that be like a good foundation for a relationship, is that you enjoy spending time together. Like, I feel like she has this romantic idea of like what love has to be in her head, that it has to be this like feisty and argumentative and ferocious like situation. And it's like, no, a lot of times it is the guy that makes you laugh and listens to you when you're upset and like can have a good time with you. And it's not the guy who makes himself unearnable and a mystery and keeps moving the goalposts for what it's going to take for him to commit to you. And that's what Devin is doing. Like, he keeps saying, okay, if she keeps this Matt guy, I'm out. Okay, she got rid of him. That's good. If she doesn't like my friends, she's out. Okay, that's good. If she says I love you to someone else, I'm out. It's like so many, like, he keeps moving the goalposts further and further away. And I think she likes that chase. And like, the other three guys are so available to her, and she just doesn't like that. And she keeps saying like, oh, Marcus and Jonathon have walls up. And Jeremy has a wall up. It's like, they actually don't. Like, Devin has a wall up, and you like that.
Yeah, Devin speaks in platitudes.
Yeah.
And like, he doesn't ever say anything of real substance or anything like that. Like, yeah, it's a good point. Like, there's aspects of her like bad toxic picker that are still at play clearly here. And like I don't know, Devin, I can't get past like, if you're liking a bunch of posts that are actively hurtful against a bunch of different marginalized populations of people, like, that's fucking toxic.
Yeah.
It's not great. And like, Jen is not seeing that. She's not clocking that somehow. And like, we know from her appearance on Caitlin Bristow's podcast that like, she does ask political questions in the fantasy suite. So I'm just kind of like, I don't know. Maybe we're really wrong. Like, I actually really hope somehow we're really wrong and it's not Devin. I just like, I really think it is.
Yeah.
I think it's an even harder pill to swallow because like these other guys are really great. Like Jeremy and Jonathon especially.
Yeah.
Like they're amazing. And I'm like, what is the missing piece here? You're creating problems.
Yeah, that's exactly it. She's manufacturing stuff to be like justified in getting rid of these guys instead of just being like, I don't feel it. And that's fine. Like there doesn't have to be a reason. And it's like, just lets me in on the fact that she's like, it's the same thing she did with Sam M. She's finding reasons to keep this person when like other guys, you just don't feel it with them. Like I don't think her person is in this group. And I think that she's going to get engaged to Devin and they're not going to get married. And I think because you cannot marry the guy that will just keep moving his love for you further and further down the field. That'll just keep making it more and more impossible and we'll keep qualifying it. And he will. And like he's going to be fucking smug about it because that's what he does. Like
I think it's like even harder to watch because like I think you're right. I don't think that her person is here. But I think actually I don't even know that. Like I see a really strong foundation for a healthy, fun, loving, amazing, ferocious love, if that's what you want to call it, with both Jeremy and Jonathon. Like I see that. I don't think she's had enough time with either of them. I don't think she's had enough time with anyone.
Yeah.
But like, especially Jeremy, since they had their first one-on-one last week. And then Jonathon, I think also like they just haven't really had enough time for it to like really settle in. It's like, these are two men that you have like a very clear connection with from both sides. And it's almost like I wish we could watch them over the course of 6 months.
I know.
Because I think it could really work. And like maybe how amazing would it be if like, okay, so she chooses Devin, they get engaged, but then somehow she ends up dating one of them afterwards. Like I would ship that so hard.
I think she should. Like her and Jeremy are so comfortable together. Like
oh my gosh.
Just shopping at that market and being flirty and like teasing each other. Like they have like jokes with each other. Like the thing about like, oh, did you take me here to kill me? Like that they have like inside jokes and stuff. And like same with her and Jonathon, like them playing lacrosse together and like teasing each other back and forth. Like all those things are so important. So maybe she could end up dating them after. That would be really nice.
Okay, so I couldn't actually see what happened. Like, did they show? Like, I was shocked that she sent Jeremy home because I thought their date was the best out of all of the hometowns. So, like, what exactly went down? I mean, I guess she just didn't choose him and that was it. Did she talk to him after?
She talked to him after. It was the classic, like, I just don't know if we can get there in the time that we have. Like, we've had so much fun together. It's just stronger with someone else. And he just said, like, I want the best for you and I hope it works out. And it was like a pretty standard dumping. And there really was no real reason. Even like her decision going into it, there was no real like stress or anything about it. Just she likes the other guys more. And then, they had the guys meet up and have a beer together and the four of them were talking about it. And the person we see spiraling is Marcus. And Marcus, like, did you see the preview for next week?
I think I saw some of it in an earlier preview. He's going to send himself home.
Yeah. The preview, if it's cut the way that's the truth, Jenn tells Marcus she loves him and he doesn't say it back. If the preview is telling the truth, then that's like what he basically pulls the Bachelor on her and is like, it's really nice to hear you say that. I'm just not there yet.
I'm actually surprised that she feels that way about him.
Me too. And like,
I don't see it with them like at all.
I think
to the point actually when we started the episode last night, Patrick's like, okay, so who's the hometowns? And I was easily like Devin, Jeremy, Jonathon. And then I could not remember
I know.
that it was Marcus.
I know.
Until he came onto the screen and I was like, oh, how did I forget this? This is wild.
Yeah. I think she likes someone that makes it hard for her. Like, I think she likes somebody
right.
that
The chase.
The chase. And like Marcus is letting his walls down a lot, but he's still like, she had to pry it out of him. Marcus's hometown I liked. You know, I'm still cautious in talking about Marcus because we don't know what happened with his ex, but just talking about his hometown. His sister was extremely sweet. The group of friends that he gathered, you know, he didn't have family there. He just had his sister and then he had a bunch of friends. Like, I love seeing hometowns that are different formations of families because if your biological family sucks and your adoptive family is not the most supportive, you can choose who's in your family. And I think that that's really important.
Yes. So many things about Marcus's story this season are so important. And I don't know. I'm just surprised that Jenn has that strong feelings for him.
Yeah, me too.
I do. I can't, like, back to Jeremy's date. Like, it was so cute. Like,
so
talk
cute.
about if a man took me to that grocery store on a date, I would be like, I'm in love with you.
Yeah.
Like, we're in love, right? Like,
let me talk about the institution that is Stu Leonard's. I
am obsessed.
I love a grocery store. Like, I live next to a Trader Joe's. It's a big part of my personality. Like, I love going to the grocery store. I always have. Going to the Stu Leonard's was like the special thing. Like, it was not that close to where I lived. Like, I think I actually went to the one in Fairfield when I went. Like, because that's like close-ish, or I guess it's in Norwalk. I forget exactly where it is. It is an amazing place. They have so many animatronics of animals singing. They have free samples everywhere. The food is amazing. Like, that lobster roll.
Lobster rolls?
A good lobster roll. Like, we would go there all the time in the fall and get their pies, and like they have great dips and everything. Like, they have amazing apple. It's such a fun place to go. And like,
I would rather go to Stu Leonard's than an amusement park, and I'm not kidding. Like, I would like, that is way more fun to me than like scary rides and feeling sick all day. Like,
Stu Leonard's is just so much fun, and like, I think it's like, it's so specific to where me and Jeremy live. Like, I grew up in Westchester County, like east, so I'm very close to Connecticut. So a lot of like his references, like even his sister saying like, "You've got some walls up, my guy," is like such a regional phrasing of like picking on your brother. And I think
I am obsessed with his sister.
Obsessed with his sister.
I am obsessed with her. She absolutely went to Oberlin, or somewhere similar.
Barnard.
I can say that as a former OB. Like, I just felt like this is my person. Like, I would be really good friends with this girl. I just know it.
And she'd be like, "Oh my God, my jock of a brother is on this fucking TV show. Yeah. Can you believe it?" And it's like, but they love each other. Like,
I love that she was like the featured family member. Like, her and the mom were like the featured family. Like, we didn't even see the other sister.
Yeah, no.
He just totally ignored her.
When he said, "My sisters liked you," I was like, where's the other girl? Like, who is she?
What?
Who is she? I again, like, I'm from the Northeast. I grew up with a lot of Jewish people. This was a very comfortable hometown for me because it just felt like people I know, and like I just loved it.
Them running into his aunt,
his face, like, I believe that was by accident.
It was not planned because she did not have a mic on.
No, and like, how cute is that? He really goes there often enough that he just runs into his aunt. Like, are you kidding me?
So cute.
So cute. Like, she didn't even know he was home.
I know. And like, I liked his mom's skepticism.
Yeah, I think it's appropriate.
Because I felt like it was like a warm skepticism. It wasn't like an asshole dad's skepticism.
Yeah,
which
it's like, "You're not good enough for my baby. You'll never be good enough."
She was kind of like, "Yeah, we'll see how it goes, Jen. Like, I hope it works out."
Yeah, she's like, you're dating 3 other guys. Like, let's get let's get over it. But she was like, they're adorable together. I hope it works. And they are adorable together.
They are totally adorable together. Jer, we love you, Jer.
We love you,
Bear.
Jer Bear.
They just like, I really believe that like had they had 2 more dates, that like I don't know.
He blew it
Like,
for himself with his entrance. If he didn't come in and do the bullshit
Right.
of, I have a huge, huge, huge penis, he would have gotten way more attention in the beginning, and this would have happened
Right.
earlier. So just let that be a sign, man. Like, don't be fucking disgusting, and like girls will give you. Be yourself.
Yeah, come on.
Don't be
Did some
disgusting.
bro in Murray Hill tell you to do that?
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
What they say? You went to Essa Bagel and they said I got some advice for you. Like, come on.
Oh man. I mean, yeah. Jer Bear's the best. Like,
He is.
I feel like of all these guys, I don't know. Often my favorites are like the ones that I could see myself actually dating myself.
Yeah.
And like Jeremy's one, Jonathan's one for sure.
Yeah, I loved Jonathan. I was a little weirded out by his sister-in-law. It was a little bit too like, this is
The
us.
one who was like, we met and
we moved in
immediately we
together after
knew.
2 weeks and we've been together for 7 years. It's like, yeah, that's not like normal. Like, I don't think we should just be like advocating for that as a timeline. Like, that's a
Yeah.
wackadoo timeline. Like,
she's like, we know exactly what this is like. It was like, can you smile? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on here?
are you both prisoners? Is that what you're trying to tell us? Like the handhold, and his brother was like, yes, we love each other. And I'm like, wow, Jonathan really got all the charisma in this family.
And like, they do not look like brothers.
No.
These siblings don't look like, he looked more like his sister, but they all looked very different from one another.
Very different from one another. Like Marcus and his sister were twins. They looked so
Yes.
much alike. Devin doesn't have any siblings. Am I remembering
Devin
that?
had a brother.
Oh, the brother kind of looked like him.
Right.
Jeremy looked
Kind
nothing
of.
like his sister.
Yeah, and who knows about the other sister because we saw her
We
for
didn't
like a
see her.
millisecond and she was gone.
And then Jonathan didn't
But-
look anything like his siblings.
They didn't show his dad at all, and I'm like very curious about Jonathan's ethnicity.
Oh, they showed his dad briefly. His dad.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I probably missed that because I only saw the clip that they had on YouTube.
Yeah. His dad looks like he's mixed race as well. So his dad looks
Okay.
His dad is black and his mom is like blonde woman, and
Right.
in the brother, the blonde woman traits definitely took over way more than they did with Jonathan.
Right.
And Jonathan
right.
looks
Yeah,
Jonathan has his mom's nose, but the rest of him looks like his dad.
and a little bit like the teeth.
Mhm.
There's like mouth something that I clocked a little bit there, but yeah, I mean, Jonathan is so, I don't know. He was just so like, yeah, I need to see you and my family, and then I'll know if I'm really in this.
And he
And
said it.
yeah, and he is in it, and he like, I don't know. He's just like a bright fucking light.
I
that
know.
guy.
I know. I'm so pleased with it being Grant, and I love that they announced it early so they
Yes.
could make sure they're getting girls that would be there for Grant, which is something they haven't done
Yes.
before. But I think Jonathan would have made an amazing bachelor as well, and he's going to be like the prince of the beach.
If he is not on that fucking beach,
If him and
I will
Jeremy
lose
don't
my
walk
shit.
into the beach holding hands, I'm going to burn this franchise to the fucking ground.
I just like picture them being besties,
Oh,
right?
yeah, they
Like,
definitely love each other. They definitely respect each other.
yeah. Like I want to hang out with those guys.
Me
I really
too.
like them.
I'm sure I'll find them in New York. Like, I bet Jeremy's going to go to Spring Lounge, which is where I've seen a lot of Bachelor alum before, and like, I'll go.
Yes. Oh, Jer Bear, we love you.
Love
we
you.
do. Jonathan, we love you too.
Oh, love you.
I'm worried for Jonathan. I mean,
yeah.
who do we see getting cut? Oh, so we think Marcus is going to send himself home.
I think Marcus is going to self-eliminate, and then by default, it'll be Jonathan and Devin at the final two.
And I think Jenn will go talk to Jonathan
I hope
before
so.
he gets in the limo and all the rest.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. I sort of miss the days when they would let them down easy.
Yeah, like which, yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Like I know the drama of like
Which
who's gonna
shoe?
step out of the limo first is like it is amazing every time. But like, yeah, I think I'm just feeling so like bummed
I know
about how this is going.
I know.
I think I just need to hold on to these like fantasies I now have of Jenn like realizing that her and Jeremy or her and Jonathon like really were the ones for each other and them finding each other. Or like maybe her and Devin have a short engagement. They break up in time for her to go on the beach.
Oh my
and
God,
she rekindles.
imagine.
Jen would be amazing on the beach.
She'd be
too.
so
like,
cute on the beach.
She'd be so cute on the beach. Like she would have so much fun on the beach, I think. Like, yeah. I think I'd be very curious because I think Jen, like, you know, we're talking about how like she still has some things to work through when it comes to being in a healthy relationship. But I think she has the capacity to like when she's watching this back, I think she's hopefully going to clock some things.
I hope so. Like, even outside of the tweets and the texts that Devin liked, like, I would not like how he's talking about me. Like, I wouldn't like this possessive.
Like she's an object.
Yeah, like she's a literal trophy, and I just would not. I would not like it.
No, me neither. But it's.
I don't know if she likes that though, because she liked Sam M, and like he was like physically mauling her. So I don't even know like what she likes.
Oh, and I have to bring this up because I texted you this, but just once again, Jenn asks Devin, "What do you like about me?"
Yes,
and his answer is only a little bit better than whatever the fuck Sam tried to say last week, which was, I like the way you make me. Wait, what was it? I like the way that you. It was something about him. Basically, it was about him, and it was like
seeing me or listening to me, like something like that.
Yeah, I don't even remember what it was. It was so stupid, and it was like not anything actually about like Jenn, like her character, her personality, like
nothing.
And I'm just like, these other guys could easily say something like super sweet to you, and you just don't want it right now. And I really wish you did.
I know. I wish you would. I wish you would really want it. And also, like, one thing I've learned about myself and about other people is that when someone gets under your skin in a really big way, it's because they are like you in the ways that you don't like about yourself. And so I think if Devin really looked closely, he would realize he's very annoyed with Sam because him and Sam are actually quite similar.
Right.
And I hope that Jenn clocks that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you can watch this back and not see that. Like, I don't know. I have enough faith in. I mean, the thing that I like about Jenn, like, I saw that you reposted a tweet that someone was like, if you told me that we were going to have these four as our final four from night one, like,
it was such a good
there's
one.
no fucking way. And I think that she sees something in people that most people may not see. Like, she's not super shallow when it comes to looks and things like that. You know, I think she really goes for like feelings and vibes and, you know, that type of emotional thing. It's just like, there's like a couple more steps to get to that. Like, you know, she's chosen a lot of quality guys to get this far. It's just like, okay, now you need to realize that like, actually the way this guy is treating you in a good way is like, that's hot.
Yeah.
That's like attractive.
That's
like,
yeah.
That's lifetime husband shit.
That's the stuff. Like, I just wish she would like trust herself enough to have a good time. Like it's almost like she doesn't believe it can be true if she's having fun. And I'm just like, I just want you to trust yourself enough to have fun. And like, it is not romantic to be fighting with somebody. It's not romantic to feel like you have to like get kernels and then beg for this massive revelation of like loving each other. Like, I don't know. I just love Jonathon. And why doesn't she just love Jonathon the way that we do? Like,
I know. They had some good quality men in the end, like for future Bachelor Nation things.
Yeah.
And like, so glad Grant is the
So
Bachelor.
glad.
So excited to see some of these guys on the beach. Like, I really think our predictions for how this is going to end are what they are.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes, though. I don't. I was like, is it a good sign that like they allowed the DNC to interrupt this episode of The Bachelorette? Is this coding? Is this some sort of political coding that I need to know about?
I don't know. I mean, there are definitely some conservatives that thought it was, which is like almost enough for me. Like, oh, how could you let this happen? And it's like, yeah, watch it.
Yeah.
Get on
and
board.
then I like ended up watching Joe Biden's speech, like the entire thing.
Wow. I
watched the whole thing. I was there on my couch and I was like, maybe the Bachelorette's going to come back. But then I was like, something about this feels important.
Yeah.
And it was way too long, but I was glad I watched it in the end, actually.
He seemed better than what, and I'm always hesitant to engage in his mental state discourse because I'm not doing it in the same way that other people are doing it to weaponize it against the Democratic Party. But like, he just seems like relieved that he's not running for president, and that is taking a big weight off of him.
Yes, and like he was like a little arrogant, and he was kind of boisterous, and he like really like just was like, Trump is a fucking asshole. He essentially, that was his vibe.
Yeah. I mean, what if I'm him? Like, what do I have to lose? Like, I'm doing anything short of getting impeached if I'm him, because I'm like, I'm old as fuck. My career is over. I'm finally free of this need to run for public office. Like, I literally be like, oh yeah, you want to say I'm an old man? I'm gonna do old man stuff. I'm gonna take a shit on his office. Like, I literally would just be like doing stuff like that. Like, there are no rules for white men as it is, but he's truly a consequenceless white man right now. Like, he's
truly
so
like,
old, and he's the president. Like, just do whatever you want.
Like, the weight of your shoulders is gone. Like, you know, I'm happy for him.
Mm-hmm.
I did feel like watching it like was a little bit like watching your old grandpa kind of like tell the stories of their youth, and you're kind of humoring them a little bit.
Okay, grandpa.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, like, I was happy at how supportive the crowd was of him, and like, you know, it was kind of a big deal what he's doing to step aside and like kind of pave the way for the party. And like, you know, I was like, yeah, you are a true patriot, Joe Biden.
Republicans could never. And like, I saw a side-by-side photo that like DNC had signs that said USA on them, and RNC had signs that said mass deportation. And I think that should just be enough.
Yeah, like everything you need to know.
Yeah, everything you need to know. And yeah, I'm disappointed that, you know, there was a pledge to continue to arm Israel in perpetuity without calling for a real ceasefire. I am disappointed, and I grapple with that. But I think you cannot help another country diplomatically if this country falls apart. And yes, it sucks that we are in this position. Yes, it is terrible that this two-party system has allowed us to have to basically go one way or another, and we can't possibly ever go for a third party because a third party is too big of a risk. But I'm as hopeful as I can be given those circumstances. So that's where I am.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's right. I feel very similarly. I was like a little shocked to hear him say those protesters have a point.
Yeah.
That was like kind of wild. Like, it was like, yeah, there's senseless killing and death and suffering going on. And like, he did say then qualify it with like on both sides. And it was a little bit like, ugh, okay. Yeah. Like, it can't, it always has to have that qualifier. Even AOC said when she's probably like the one person and Bernie, who would like call it out how it is. But even Bernie won't. You know, it's like I don't know. I don't know how we are where we are with this, but it was like there is a sense I feel that like the DNC has to address this. They can't just ignore it.
They can't,
because there is such a dissenting voice now that's so strong.
Yeah.
In a way that we've never seen in the American political landscape like ever before.
Yeah, and I think
so that's something.
I think it's something, and I think it's important to keep pushing. Like, I think that pushing has gotten us to the point where Biden is no longer in the race, and I think you can keep pushing. You know, we got Tim Walz over Shapiro because people were like, okay, we don't necessarily need somebody that's going to be like, oh no, we're cutting our allyship with Israel. Like, that's never going to happen. And, and I don't know enough about this to say what should and shouldn't happen. Like, I'm not an expert in the area, but at the very least, they didn't get a VP who was going to be all in on Israel without listening to anything that's happening in Gaza, without acknowledging it at all. And it feels small, but that unfortunately is the small stuff that happens when you're dealing with our big government.
Right. And this is like one issue that has truly been impenetrable since the creation of Israel. So it's like to see any movement is like actually kind of shocking to me. I actually like really never thought we would have anything along these lines. So there's that. There's a lot of big things happening now. They keep saying it's an historic election and time, and like it is. And I don't think I want to be cautiously optimistic because I don't want to feel like, oh,
I don't want to feel like 2016
things are
again.
like fixed because they're not.
No, they're not. And to quote Taylor, I left a different girl from that 2016 election. Never again will I go in assuming it's in the bag because people will be reasonable. Like I'm never going back. I was beaten down.
Yeah. That was so traumatic. Oh my God. I always think
traumatic.
Back to when Obama got elected in 2008. I was a year out of college living in New York City, and I had like on election night gone to my friend's apartment in Queens, and we were like watching it, and like my friend Margaret was like, she was like so happy, and she was like, he's president and now everything is going to be fixed. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of us kind of thought, like, I knew that wasn't true, but I was kind of like, oh yeah, we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
Like our country is like going to just move in the right direction totally from here. And then, whoa, 2016 just like really threw a wrench in that.
Yeah. It's like Obama deported more people than any other president and then dropped more bombs than most. And then we were like, oh my God, I can't believe we're not moving forward as a country. But yeah, I remember feeling that way too. And like what's actually so sad, and this is my personal, I couldn't vote in a presidential election until the 2012, I guess. Because of the way that my age lined up. And I went to school in Pennsylvania, and they brought Rock the Vote to our school and like registered all these people to vote. And then Rock the Vote lost all of our voter registrations. And so there were busloads of Villanova students going to the polls and getting turned away.
Oh my God.
And how dangerous for that to happen in a swing state like Pennsylvania, like to not let college campuses vote. It was like actually really, really messed up. So 2016 was my first election that I got to participate in. I mean,
why isn't that like a huge national story?
It should be a very big deal that this happened, because I think it happened at Penn State too. And that's like a massive, that's like a city within, I have to confirm with Ethan if it happened to them too, but that's like a city itself. Yeah.
And that's like a whole, like, it's young voters. It's like a very specific voice and perspective. Like, whoa, that is so fucked up.
It was really messed up. And like, then I always vote in my local elections. Like, vote in your local election. It's actually going to make a bigger difference to your day-to-day life. And it trickles upwards somewhat. Not to sound like Reagan all of a sudden, like trickle down, but
no, it's true though. Like you can make the most difference in your local elections for sure.
Yeah, but my first presidential was 2016. So
Oh, Mary.
I know.
That's so upsetting.
I know. I got 2020 at least, but that was like bad.
Oh my gosh. 2020 felt like a fever dream. I mean,
yeah.
The pandemic and the results took days to come out, and
well, there were so many
it was almost
ballots because no one
is
was.
This real? Like, can we really accept this? Like, I just feel like I've been worried for the past 4 years.
Yeah.
Instead of being able to just like enjoy it, because I think I knew Trump was going to run again.
Yeah.
And like,
well,
he
the January
is such a scary. Yeah.
The January 6th, which is just like, I know we talk about it a lot, but we don't talk about that enough. That really is like the craziest thing that ever happened. Like I was at an alligator farm in Florida with my niece and nephew, like walking around the alligators, and my mom's just like walking around with them, and I'm like they broke into the Capitol building. Like they're just coming in on my phone, and my niece is like, I'm gonna go pet an alligator, and I'm like, what's going on?
I don't even know who was talking. I don't know why the DNC was on when it was last night. This was like pre-Bachelorette watching, but whoever was talking was like, what was it? It was something about like, it was like, hey, JD Vance, like, do you know why there was a job opening for VP? It's like, because they threatened to kill his predecessor, which is like, hilarious on one level and absolutely terrifying because it's true.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's, oh my God.
They threatened to kill him, and the president did nothing to dissuade them.
No.
So, like, if you're running with him, you're truly on your own. Like, I think I saw it, like, it was on LinkedIn. It was like, JD Vance, the reason you should always check why the position is open before taking the job. And it's like, yeah. That's a good point.
These are real fucking things. And I mean, this is, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like there's a conversation that has been started in the season of The Bachelorette around political leanings, and I want them to address it in the, like, after the final rose. It would be iconic if they did, but it's like, if they won't, but like,
even with Garrett addressing it with him, it wasn't like addressing the MAGA of it all. It was addressing like the racism.
Right.
And here it's like, are they gonna talk about xenophobia?
No.
They're probably not.
No.
Because it's like too layered of a political issue. So they're probably not going to talk about it.
It's kind of like there's too many things to talk about almost, because it hits on so many things that are upsetting.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's going to be more that comes out about it, at least in the background chatter. So, we'll be talking about it.
Of course.
But
I mean, we just talked for 20 minutes about politics.
I know. I'm sorry. This has turned into like a half political.
I know. And I like don't know as much as I should. So like, I'll try.
No. I guess it's just like, this is in some ways like an audio diary of the time we're living in.
Yeah, we're doing our best, guys.
Yeah, like it's pretty wild, and it does need to be reflected on, and it's reflected in these shows in a very weird off-kilter way.
Yeah, it all comes full circle.
Okay, well, thank you all so much for listening. We appreciate you. We love you. We'll see. So there's 2 episodes of Love is Blind UK coming out tomorrow.
I think it's just 1. Oh, yeah, it's 2.
Yeah. So we may or may not record an extra episode for that. We might just cover it on our episode next week. But excited for that. Again, if you're not watching it, like, go ahead and watch it. It's so good.
Go watch. Yeah, it's so good.
It's really good. And Benaya follows us now, which I'm obsessed with.
Love him so much. Can't wait to make more memes about him tomorrow.
Oh my God, love it. Okay, well, thank you all so much for listening, and we will catch you next time.
Yay.
Cheers,
Cheers,
lovebirds.
Thanks for listening to Can I Steal You for a Minute?
Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, and if you like the show, please leave a rating and review. Follow us on social media at Can I Steal You for a Minute Pod, and support the show through Patreon at patreon.com/Can I Steal You for a Minute.